Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Metanoia. My name is Carrie Jane and it is a Thursday morning. I'm going to do the best I can to give you a concise, accurate message on the 5 personal year number before I go to work. So sit back, relax, and yeah, just hear what I have to say about this number. I'm going to do the best I can to limit background noise because there's lots going on for whatever reason. Lots of cars, lots of garbage trucks, my roommates wandering everywhere. So, bear with me. But, yeah, here we go. So, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of the 5 personal year number is Murphy's Law, which, if you know, is anything that can go wrong will go wrong. However, I very much prefer Interstellar's interpretation of it, which, if you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend it, which is anything that can happen will happen. That is the 5 year in a nutshell. And so, because of this entropy, because of this kind of static energy, it is a year of change. The function of the 5 year is to get out of this stagnant atmosphere of the 4, where you're putting in all this effort and you are working really hard towards your goals and you're wondering if you're going to get anywhere, if anything's really going to happen. And honestly, you could have been trying to do that the previous years too. The 5 years is finally going to come to a point where things are going to change somehow, in some way. And hopefully it is in a way that is conducive to what you're doing and your goals, the goals that you were making and working hard on and nourishing, planting seeds and tending to in the previous year. Hopefully this is the year for you where that starts to come finally. Think of the 5 year as boiling a pot of water. And as it starts to heat up, the molecules get more and more excited. And this increases the likelihood for chemical reactions to occur. And sorry for the science reference, but I have a lot of science references, and that's how I come to understand a lot of this stuff, this metaphysical sciences and philosophical as well. But imagine it like that. Your life is kind of like a medium, water, and now life is exerting something on it. It's heat, it's pressure, it's whatever. But whatever that thing is, it's going to excite everything. Things will become much more like sped up. Like, kind of think of high vibrations. Like, if you believe in ascension, imagine everything vibrating at a higher frequency. And it is in this year, for that reason, why change happens and why there could be lots of new opportunities. The 5 year is also the halfway point in the 9 year cycle. And so this means something else. It means that there's a good chance you might come to some sort of crossroads, whether it's with your internal or external world. I would say more likely your internal world, because in the 1 year, it was a completely new start and you were trying to have a completely new beginning that was related to more external things like your job, where you want to live, wherever you see yourself, from an external perspective. And I think that by the time that you get to the 5, it's more like, all right, we've spent the last 4 years, banging our head against the wall. No. We spent the last 4 years, putting energy into this one thing or these few things, because this is the future we were trying to create. Now what do? Do we continue on this path that we've started, or do we take a turn? You might be confronted with your old self and the person that you want to become. You might have finally come to a culmination point where it's like, okay, you see how things have progressed up to this point. You were able to witness, you probably learned a lot about yourself, because that's the human experience no matter what age you are. So I feel confident saying that you learned a lot about yourself. You saw how you dealt with changes. You saw how you dealt with very difficult life circumstances or anything. And you reflect and you're like, well, do I want to keep being that person? Or do I want to turn a new leaf? Because of the Murphy's Law, anything that can happen will happen idea, it's possible that there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, lots of stressors. I'm in a personal month number of 5, and all of my things are breaking. And that's been a very common experience for me. I usually, if it's a 5-day, I'll lose my car keys. This month, I'm breaking all my crystals. My laptop has a crack in its screen. What else? I could go on, but it just means that energy is excited, and it doesn't necessarily mean that bad things are going to happen. It also means that you could be very lucky. You're going to run into a person who's going to change your life. You're going to run into some sort of scenario where it's just like, oh, this is finally going to help me. And then you see so many changes happen after that. So it's a very positive energy too. And the utility of it is of the utmost importance. Because, like I said, in the previous year, you might have felt stuck. It might have felt like a never-ending story at that point. It's like, it's you get to this point where you're like, okay, now I know I need to just buckle down and do my taxes, but it's like, when am I going to start seeing anything from it? And so, in that sense, the 5-year is a blessing. So the 5 energy is also all about celebrating life. And so it is a time for you to, if you are reflecting back on things, to feel good about what you've accomplished so far. And we forget to do this. You should have done that a little bit in the 1 year because you just spent the last 9 years going through a thing. But this is the time to revisit that again. And it's because you have to remember that life is worth celebrating, and we also forget to do that. We have, Christmas, and we have 4th of July, and we have all these holidays because, humans forget to do that. But in our lives, out of the society, standards and out of the societal norms, we as human beings, as individuals, have to remember what we're doing here and exactly what it is that we're accomplishing when we're going through all this stuff and we're trying to make a life for ourselves, or we're trying to overcome something or anything. So not only should you have gratitude, not only should you be acknowledging all the things that you've accomplished, but actually celebrate. Like, go out with your friends and be like, you know what, I'm not happy with these things in my life, but here are the accomplishments that I'm proud of, or here are the things that I am grateful to have in my life right now, despite X, Y, and Z, whatever's going on in your life. Have fun. 5 is all about adventure. It's all about freedom. And so it's also a very good year to travel. Travel for fun is the best kind of travel, but you may find yourself needing to travel for other reasons. Maybe your job asks you to start going to conferences, or for whatever reason there's some sort of family circumstance where you have to be traveling in between, different states or different countries even. It doesn't matter, but there's a good likelihood that at some point you're going to have to be moving around a lot. This is also a very good year to have integrity and be extremely honest with yourself and other people. Be very genuine with how you present yourself, because if you are trying to be something you're not, if you're trying to do something, like, continue building something that is just not feeling right for you, it's time to stop. It's time to walk away, possibly even from that thing, and really be very active in figuring out what your genuine self is, tapping into that energy and embodying it. That's very hard for a lot of people to do. I just said that in a very light way, but that's actually a very serious thing. People have a very hard time being their genuine selves. Sometimes it's because they just want to be liked, but other times it's because they don't know how to be, because they thought that they had to embody some other image or some other story in order to get the success that they wanted in their life, or really anything. So if you are feeling any of the feelings that I've described, really take stock and take a moment for yourself this year. Pause. Actually pause. And in fact, if you don't pause, you just might have the year where everything's breaking down because you're not pausing. You're going a little bit too fast with this thing that actually needs to be taken down and transformed into something else. That's a possibility. And so that could be a reason why, if you're having the kind of year where everything is not working out, your car's breaking down, you got a crack in your laptop screen, you get, it's like if you were to condense it in the day, it's the day where you get like shampoo in your eyes and you've stubbed your toe and then you can't find a parking spot, and it's like Mercury retrograde, which is today. It's March 22nd today. So yeah, these are just things to think about. And please leave comments below, because I'm very curious, if you're going through this year, what you have to say. So the 5 is also a very physical energy. So if you can, I highly recommend doing some sort of meditative practice, which could be anything depending on who you are, where you're kind of centering yourself and you're getting back into your body, because we also kind of like to drift around in our thoughts, in our mental body, or whatever. And it's a really good time to become more aware of your 5 senses, touch and smell, taste, go and see something beautiful, go to concerts. Man, go to concerts this year. Whatever you're into, just go and do it. Listen to some awesome music. Do anything that you can to get yourself back in your body. And for some people, this will be like an exercise regime. But for people like me, it gets really boring and repetitive to just be waking up and going on runs every morning. It's exercise is extremely important, and I highly recommend that too for this year. But if you're like me, and you need to find a variety of ways to help yourself get back into your body and remember that you're a human, I recommend everything that I've said so far. Go to your favorite concerts, eat your favorite food, buy some incense, have the essential oils going, go to a museum, see some artwork, whatever suits your fancy. There is a possibility that you will be presented with several opportunities this year. If you are this person, if there's so many cool things coming up that you want to try and do, I highly recommend trying the best you can to stay focused and not choose everything. Because if you choose everything, you'll be spread too thin, and then you won't really make headway in anything. You won't have a lot of success in anything, because you spread yourself too thin, Choose like your top 3 favorite things that are exciting you this year and go with that. And on a side note, don't be afraid to be spontaneous. If you are a 4 life path, this might be hard for you. If you are a 6 or 8 life path, this also might be hard for you. It really depends. It depends on so many different things, not just your life path, but the kind of person you are because of your life experiences. But, you know, if you're a type A personality, it might be hard for you. But not being in control of every single thing is a very good thing this year, because it means that you can finally open up to something that's meant to happen for you. And I'm sorry, so far I've been a little bit disorganized in this presentation, but now I think I'm going to share some quotes for you that I found that I really like in the Life Cycles book that I've been using this whole series by Christine Delory. And let's see. There was a lot of quotes. I might just say all of them, I'm not sure. The first one is, never forget that change is a positive force, that is generally for the better, and that life is a is a performance for which none of us are given the opportunity to rehearse. And that's from Sally Brompton. The next is, out of clutter, find simplicity. From discord, find harmony. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity, and that's Albert Einstein. And then the next one is from Ralph Waldo Emerson, who has some of my favorite quotes of all time. And he said, "We are always getting ready to live, but are never living." And I would not only use that quote for this 5-year, but for the 5 period. If you're a 5 life path, which I haven't even gone into yet on my channel, but just the 5 period, if you had to sum up in a quote, that is it. We are always getting ready to live, but never living. That is the lesson that you came here to learn if you happen to be a 5 life path. And that could be the lesson for you this year too. So keep that in mind and stay positive, guys. Just try the best that you can to stay positive and use it as motivation to get out of your shell, if you have been in one up to this point, to try new things, take new opportunities, explore, and it's going to be a great year for you guys. So, like I said before, if you have anything to add or you have any personal experiences that you are willing to share, please leave it in the comments below. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and share. And I hope that next week I'll be able to put together the 6 personal year number for you guys. And yeah, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.